Hi and welcome to City Happenings. I'm Mayor David Black. Papillion continues to grow and offers much to its residents so they can live, work, and play. For more about Papillion, here's City Happenings.
Thanks, Mayor Black. The first Street Plaza project on the southwest corner of 1st and Washington Streets is part of the downtown redevelopment project.
Well, some people just say, what is going on at First Street Plaza? And thankfully, a lot of people were involved. I mean, the planning of that was almost a year and a half long with lots of public input in a lot of ways, and it culminated in that. But what's going on fundamentally is three things. We had, for the longest time, a parking lot that was sitting there, and other than maybe on a Friday night or 3 days during Papillion days, the lot was empty. But people would complain that there was no parking downtown. So one of the things we did is we wanted to move the parking on street as diagonal parking along First Street. And as soon as we did that, that parking started being used. There's a psychology about parking lots and going into parking lots. So first of all, we moved the parking from the parking lot to diagonal on street and actually increased the amount of parking. The next thing then is, now that we had that space, what do we do with it? One of the things that we've heard for years is in the downtown area there's no public restrooms. A lot of people don't like to go into businesses and use the restrooms. And if downtown is going to be a place people come to, and we know that's the heartbeat of the community, just look at Papillion Days in Winter Wonderland, it became a prime opportunity to address that. So the structure that people see is actually a public restroom. That's the fundamental purpose of it. But it also serves some other purposes. If you look at the rooftop and how it's extended over, it provides, it'll cast a shadow and provide some shade. It also creates a natural barrier to 84th Street. So as people are downtown and mingling in the plaza, it actually pushed them away from 84th Street from a safety perspective. And when you're in the plaza, that structure will actually block noise from 84th Street, so it makes it a little bit quieter. So those are kind of secondary benefits, but it addressed the parking in the restroom. But then it became an extension of the park system. The creek and the bridge is a natural barrier between the park and downtown. And we wanted to extend the park to the downtown side, and that's where the idea of the public plaza came. If we want downtown to be a destination, a place that people go to, they go into one business, or maybe they go to the library and stay downtown and wander and meander and walk around, they might get tired. Where do you rest? Public plaza. There's shade. It's a nice, enjoyable place. One of the things we're working very hard on is attracting business for daytime employment. Daytime workers. Where do you go take lunch? You don't want to go. You want to get out of the office, and you don't want to go to a fast food place. You can go to the public plaza, right downtown. And so the public plazas tend to really be center of community. And with it being downtown, people can rest there, people can gather there. It's just a great amenity to add to downtown being a place to go, while addressing the parking need and the public restroom need. And as we talk about public plazas, one of the things that hit me is the role that small public plazas have actually played in the founding of the country. You go back to Massachusetts or some of the original 13 colonies, and you go to and you look at history. Where did significant events in this country occur? Usually in the public plaza or the public space. I had an opportunity to go to Boston not too long ago and walk the Freedom Trail. They very specifically pointed out on the Freedom Trail the first public plaza. I mean, it was a significant thing. So it's just interesting to see the role they play in a healthy community and a healthy identity, even historically, and it kind of fits into that vein.
The city's police department continues teaching D.A.R.E in the local schools. A new curriculum has changed some things at the elementary school level.
We're talking about some things that we haven't talked about in the past. Some of it's the same talk, only done in a different way. The approach you take changes based on the kids that change, and technology is a huge facet in their life. So we have to keep up with that, and we have the PowerPoints, we have some videos we're using this year, and I was a little skeptical about the video part of it. They're very short, beginning and end of each class. It's a little skeptical about them, but I'll tell you what, the kids, they pick up on the videos. You ask them the next week what was in the video from last week or 2 weeks ago, they can almost tell you word for word what went on. So they're very effective. So keeping up with technology and the learning skills of 6th graders today versus 10 or 15 years ago, it is completely different. There's more focus on being responsible, because whether you use drugs or not, it's a responsible decision to say no to drugs. So there's a lot of focus on being responsible, which, as you know, would encompass all decisions that you make, not just about drugs or specific events, but every decision we make, we try to be safe and responsible about it. So there's a lot of focus on that in the curriculum now that we didn't have before. It was a lot more drug focused, giving information, knowledge about drugs. What we found out is kids today need to know that it's a responsible decision to make. To be an adult, you have to make responsible decisions. When you start talking about alcohol, you have to be 21 to use it. Well, I think a lot of kids get involved with it early because, well, that's an adult thing, and I want to act like an adult. Well, what we're telling them is to be an adult, you have to be responsible in your decision making. So we focus a lot on decision making, being responsible. The bullying came out about 3 or 4 years ago, and we're still doing that. It was rewritten this year in the curriculum. But the bullying is still focused on 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade level bullying, which is normally cyberbullying, which is going to be social network like Facebook. It's going to be text messaging, some face-to-face bullying, name-calling. But we really don't talk about the shootings or the guns issues that are going on in our country. They get enough of that just through their social media and through their media outlets. That's really not a concern at 6th grade. Obviously, they see some changes that are going on in the schools now with locked front doors and some security steps, and it's the world they're growing up in. They're almost getting used to well, I know there's school shootings, and we know there's that potential at all times, and it's just a different awareness that these kids have versus maybe when you and I were kids.
Cooperation Best is a program that gets local businesses involved with local schools. Why would a business owner take valuable time to talk to a high school marketing class?
We're very active business partners for the school district. Matter of fact, we're business partners for several school districts. And it just makes sense to do things in the community. It's not just get our name out there, it's being involved in the community. And for myself, I have an education background. I used to be in their teachers' feet, and I enjoy going in the classroom and seeing what the kids are doing. And it's nice to always have somebody come in and talk about what they do. It's real life experiences, and when you hear it from somebody in real life, it makes more sense than when the teacher does it. So I can appreciate their requests too, and it's nice to honor those requests when they come in. A lot of the kids are our bread and butter. They've been here all their lives, and it makes sense that they try to see the back room pieces of what we do. We're not just a place where you come and you play laser or golf or go-karts. We're a place that has an active business office going on all the time of how we plan to market and how we advertise and what we do. We don't just do your basic TV, radio. We have to be very proactive in everything we do, and we're far more active in our social media now than anything. And that's a real key point for today's kids. They understand, social media. Marketing is not something that you have infinite amount of money for. I think a lot of marketing students get their heads inflated about, look at all this neat stuff we can do. And then the reality is, and here's our budget. And they go like, huh? I talk to a lot of kids with yearbooks selling ads there, a lot of sports programs selling ads, that kind of thing. You have to draw the line somewhere. And I think when you tie budget skills into a marketing class, all of a sudden they realize we can do a whole lot that doesn't cost anything, and it's just as creative, it gets our demographic, and it really hits home. So that's one of the things. And it's just like growing up, you have a budget. You either have a budget or you are in debt. And it's very simple. And any involvement they have with business. The DECA club is marketing, but it's also a business club like FBLA. So the reality of you just don't open a business because you like miniature golf and the world will come. You have to be the business side. So to see that backroom side of things really does put a reality into all those kids. I want to be involved in the community because they give to me. If it weren't for the town of Papillion, I wouldn't be here. I don't depend on Omaha. I don't depend on Ralston to come. I really depend on the people in Papillion. So we want our name to be out there. We want to support the good things that happen in Papillion.
That's what's happening around Papillion. There are lots of ways to keep up to date with what's happening in Papillion. You can follow us on Facebook, follow the City of Papillion on Twitter, or watch the YouTube channel. And of course, information about all of our departments and programs is available on our website. For more information about the city, please go to www.papillion.org or just call the Mayor's Hotline at 827-1111. Thank you for watching.